In the short term, they get Gilead, The Handmaid's Tale, the parable of the sower. Look at it as more of a, like, future historic document than a story. Christian right-wingers are so interested in having their way of life become this utopia, for white men. They literally don't care who it hurts or who dies or who's tortured. They want this, like, I am a noble and you are my serf, my chattel. I shall grape where I choose and touch the children of my choice. For I am the Lord on earth and shall be rewarded in heaven. The US is good at one thing: we make weapons. We make weapons good. So if all we do is sell our weapons to the rest of the world and then let Christians run their Christian world, we will happily survive. At least white men. They don't care. Like the people who have looked at Project 2025, just from overlooking plagues to contaminating soil, air, and water to people not getting the right kind of health care at the right time to stress to like everything they're doing to eliminate seniors and the disabled community. They're not saying it out loud, but kids with problems, the disabled, and the elderly, they'd like them out of the population as quickly as possible. It's no accident that that's where they're cutting first. They basically want a perfect population of people who don't live past 40, don't cause any extra strain on the system. There is no Tiny Tim in their version of what is to come. Gilead will only thrive for 10 to 20 years. By that point, the planet will be hot and everybody will be trying to move to the US, if not Canada, Alaska. It will be the last cool temperatured ground on this planet, at which time people will pay exorbitant fees to move into Gilead and, deal. Because when your country is now 160 degrees on a cool day, here's the US. Or, the United States of Trump, whatever the hell it gets renamed. The US knows where it's situated. Most of its advantage is where it's situated in a climate that continues to heat up. If you look at any of the models of what's left, it's the top half of Europe, so Russia, and the top half of the US and Canada, just in time for them to run out of money and to run out of pretty much resources, i.e. human slaves. People will be knocking on their gates begging to get in. It's not a long-term dream, it's a short-term white man's paradise. Florida is already going to drop age restrictions, and that's just the start. We will soon see factory kids of 8 and 9 years old. People keep on thinking, well, our way of life will continue. It will just be, more miserable. You have not read Project 2025. They don't want us traveling between towns. They want to shut down telecommunications. They want to control what you can see from the media. They want to ban books. They want to ban education, so your world becomes incredibly small and incredibly controlled. Think of it like why we celebrate June 19th. Because there were slaves in this country that had no idea they had been freed. Because they lived in the middle of nowhere, away from news and information, and nobody told them. That's where they want us to end up again. What is that thing over the wall? Oh, we tell the place over the wall with its maple leaves. It was called Canadice. We're not allowed to go there or talk about it anymore. You have to admit, we are infinitely stupider 2 generations later. Give them another 2 generations, and if we're all breeding by 18, that happens kind of quick. You got a bunch of really stupid, malleable people who have absolutely no choice. Somebody will start an underground railroad and people will sneak off to Canada, but what the 1% gains is any wealth held by the 99%. They will come for it all. They don't care that there will be empty houses. They don't care that the stock market might crash, because they will have all the money and we will have none. Like a praying mantis, gets impregnated and then rips the head off of the male. They're not looking long-term, thinking, oh, you know what, I can mate with him again next year. They're thinking short-term, you did your job and now you're... It is purely about making a white man's paradise. A nod to the glorious times when white dudes were in charge, women knew their place, and everybody else was tied to the land. Where they could roll over you with their carriage or beat you to death, and that was well within their rights. And granted, we won't work the fields as much as we will work the factories. There will be farm workers, but there will be a lot of factory workers. And those factory workers are going to look like pre-industrial revolution, when, 4-year-olds were crawling around picking up balls of lint underneath the weaving machines. It cannot be expressed strongly enough. They don't care about you. They literally don't care if you die. They take a little bit of pleasure in your pain, but they are looking to take everything from you, sever your head, and they are not thinking long term. A serf lived, a serf served, and then a serf conveniently did them the favor of dying of arthritis at 33, not putting too much of a burden on society in their old age. And the biggest burden to society right now is the old, the needy, and the disabled. They want the perfect race, overlooking the fact that there is no such thing, and every time any conqueror has ever gone looking for it has failed, but they don't care. If the earth is going to burn, they want one last shot to create heaven on earth. God, I feel like I do nothing but bring doom and gloom to this app, but people really need to wake up to the fact that it's not going to look like this with just less money. Read the parable of the sower and read it as if you got the newspaper a day ahead of time.